Welcome back yet again, folks, to Wurm Online. For the past week and a half, I've been stuck on this game like glue, aside from the New World stress test we just finished playing, of course. And I felt like it was time to do a short review of this, to give people a better idea of what to really expect from a game like this. You are probably already aware that for the first day, there were some server issues, so I won't touch on that. Server issues are very common in MMO launches, and in this game's case, even more so because they weren't prepared for all the new people to be interested in the game. But I do have to commend them on how quickly they got those issues resolved in comparison to other games. About a day or two after, they even decided to make an entirely new server map for people to play on, so that helped spread people out by a lot. Now, I'm not even really sure where to begin on this one. I went into this game remembering it was one of the most expansive sandboxes I've ever played, but over the past week I've been falling in love with it all over again and learning way more than I ever did. Just about every single system in this game has complexity to it and detail that is unmatched by a lot of different games in the genre. I told you all that if you wanted to become followers of the gods, you could travel to either the white light in the sky or a black light. On the PvE server, I believe they have a different way of doing it, but on the PvP one I'm on, you still have these altars. And one thing that I found out recently is that people are actually able to destroy these altars, and that causes them to respawn somewhere completely different. And not only has this been done before, but it's also created different side effects depending on which one got destroyed. It was insane to me how you could essentially tear down a building of the gods that people were actively using to become followers of the faith. And that's really just scratching the surface on that system. There's a lot of other things we learned about the game's system during our time. Just how complex the cooking system is, or all the different things you could do with masonry or fine carpentry. My group and I were dedicated early on to properly found our settlement deed in the area we wanted. We needed to make sure it had proper protection from people trying to raid or fight us. But to do this to begin with, we learned that we would need to connect our kingdom's influence to the area we were planning to build. This was a problem because we lived quite a ways away from the starting zone. So what did we do? We spent days building guard towers to connect the influence. Long and hard 15 to 18 hour hauls each day of carting resources, gathering supplies, fighting off creatures, interacting with people in the world, and building these structures until the end. The satisfaction we had when the final tower went down was insane. I can't even begin to tell you. This game made me realize even more what makes sandbox games so special. Like, yeah, they might not be that much to look at, they might not have flashy combat or modern graphics, but the sheer amount of things you're able to do in them is ridiculous. I can't even give you guys all the game tips I was planning to teach you about Wurm because there's just so many. Take the cooking system for example. Certain meals require you to measure out an exact amount of ingredients to pull off. There's over 100 different things you can mesh together and multiple different tools like frying pans, cauldrons, the campfires of course, ovens, like there's a ton. Way more than I initially anticipated. I have about 120 to 150 little notes of things I wanted to bring up to you guys, and at this point the best advice I can give to you, I strongly advise you to pull up the Wurmpedia website and search through any info you can find on Google. Now in the way of combat experience, I was having fun in this game. Even though the animations aren't up to modern standards, the fighting felt like it had a real purpose. It wasn't just for leveling up our fighting skills or getting stronger, we had key points of interest we needed to defend, and sometimes we were fighting for our lives and our gear. For the player versus player side, take this skirmish footage for example. This is what appears to be a battle between Horde of the Summon and Mulrihan, the other two factions that exist in Wurm besides Jin Kalan and any player-made kingdoms. During these fights, you'll see people that specialize in different things. These horses that you see, the armor, weapons, that's all player made or found. In this game, you could decide to breed horses if you want to, strictly for battle, and outfit them to increase efficiency. Or you could be a little bit more like this person and try to focus on taking them down. Mounts provide an elevation bonus in combat, so having people in your squad that are capable of focusing them down, like a spearman, would be very useful. The magic system also takes the game to a higher level. If you're terraforming a cave and decide you could do a better job with magic, that's something that becomes a possibility with the god called Magranon. That one and the Blacklight god we talked about previously would give you abilities like enchanting your weapon with affinities such as Bloodthirst, or give you the chance to change the terrain of the ground into what's called mycelium. This terrain allows you to heal off of it so you can stay in the fight if you're Horde of the Summoned. And there's so many different other spells you could use. Conjuring a fire pillar or a full-blown tornado. Of course though, we haven't seen anyone use that yet because it becomes a process on its own where you need to pray to become a priest and go through certain processes. But Wurm has certainly become a game that even 14 to 15 years after its release, I can still highly recommend. Describing it as the medieval version of EVE Online was more correct than I realized, and I have to say that if you do try it, you should definitely focus on getting into a group or trying it out with a group of friends if you have nothing to play. It makes things so much easier. The learning curve is very steep. You won't be making war machines and bringing an army of champion level trolls to siege with you right off the bat. The grind is also very long, especially on these newly released Steam servers. Like, it could be a month or two before you even get to a point of considering yourself at the end of early game kinda grind. But I'm sure you may have experienced both of those already. Overall though, I wanted to make this video while the thoughts were fresh in my mind, and to share my love for it before dedicating myself to games like New World. This one will always have a special place in my heart, right up there with Mortal Online and Darkfall. And it'll definitely serve as something to play in the months leading up to the other games' launches and even beyond that. It's a game like many others that you can always come back to. But with that folks, that's all I wanted to go over for now. I've been addicted to it for about a week or so I'm glad I finally had the opportunity to take a break from it. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know how you guys felt about the experience you had with it so far. I really think games like this will help spark ideas for improving future ones. Have a wonderful night or day, and farewell.